So the new spin-off, Summer House Martha's Vineyard, has started. And I've been asking you guys, is this a show that we should recap separately or add it to our Tuesday takeover, or maybe add it to when we cover Real Housewives of Atlanta, which also premiered last night. And there will be a live, meaning that I'm going to try, hopefully the internet is good, for us to go live and talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta premiere while I'm here in London later today. Stay tuned for the time. But I did watch this morning as I got up the first episode of Summer House Martha's Vineyard. And you know, I was trying to get into Summer House, the original show, and I just couldn't get into it. Why 5 minutes into this show, I'm like, oh, we have to talk about this show. So before we do any of those things, you guys know what to do. Let me know where you're watching from. Don't forget to like the video because it matters. And subscribe to the channel. All right? Let's get into this countdown. And don't forget to share the video as well.
Baby, baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer. Just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll add the fuel. Follow my lady, just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Be sure to check out some of the videos because I was quite busy over the weekend, posted quite a few pop culture news stories for you, so be sure to check those out and let me know your thoughts on those topics. This is our very first recap of Summer House Martha's Vineyard. It might be a ways away from where I am currently. A little cloudy day here in London town. I have to say though, we were very, very lucky yesterday. We had 70 degrees here in London, beautiful sunny day. And right now it's not even raining, it's just cloudy, which I'm okay with. I'm about to go outside and enjoy some of what's left of today. But I did end up waking up and I said, oh, let me watch Summer House Martha's Vineyard. And I'm invested, y'all. I'm invested. Okay, so for those that don't know what this is, so Summer House is a show that's popular on Bravo. I think they're in their 8th season. And there's been spinoffs. There was Winter House, and now we have Summer House Martha's Vineyard. I told you when I was at BravoCon, I actually met some of the truly original producers, and they mentioned the show. They didn't tell me it was a Summer House spinoff. They just told me it was going to be a spinoff. I later found out on my own that it was a show based in Martha's Vineyard. I still, at that point, did not know that this was going to be something related to Summer House. Fast forward to the announcement, here we are. We know that this is going to be a Summer House spinoff. And I already told you, I predicted that I feel like this is going to overshadow Summer House, the new show. I mean, the original show. And I think a lot of people at this point, not only will it overshadow, I think people are a little tired. Because after a few seasons, I think, like I said, they're going on their 8th season, or they're in their 8th season. People get a little tired. And this refresh with an all-black cast in Martha's Vineyard, telling the history of black excellence. Okay, we're going to get to that conversation. Black excellence in Martha's Vineyard. I'm here for it. And no matter how you feel about these different personalities, I can look at this cast and be like, no, they're necessary because we don't need everybody to be one particular personality that we all like. No, certain characters have to be unlikable, funny, quirky, interesting, problematic. In order to have these conversations, we keep saying that we want reality TV, but we can't have reality TV if it's not real. And I can appreciate everyone on this cast. And we haven't even met the full cast just yet. There are still people that are going to be coming. But at the top of this episode, we already know who is the focal point, who is the Nene, just because we need some sort of like association. The Nene, the Mariah Huck. Not to say that they're even producers on this situation. However, they are little mini producers in the situation. So we have a married couple, Silas and Jasmine. Jasmine from Jump, I don't care how you guys feel about her, she is reality TV gold. She is giving me humor. She is getting involved. She is trying to prompt these conversations. It's a little bit of pre-production, but I can appreciate it. We always say this. Yes, we don't like when people overproduce and it becomes obvious. Hello, Giselle from RHOP. Sidebar, did you guys see some of the footage of RHOP? They're in Texas or something filming, and apparently NECA and Dr. Wendy Asefo are already beefing, and you can see in the video footage. First of all, Dr. Wendy Asefo looks amazing in her Mugler outfit. That she looks great, but apparently they're beefing. I'm really trying to stay away from reporting unless it's like a big juicy story. I'm really staying away from reporting all of what's happening as they're filming, just so that it doesn't ruin the season for us. But that was just a sidebar. How did I get to that sidebar? Anyways, so we have Jasmine and Silas, who are recently married, and they are sort of like the first characters that we see on this show. Then we meet, I don't remember the order because I didn't take notes like I normally do, so this is fresh off the dome. Not the dome. The dome is fresh though right now. Sidebar. Okay. If you're new to the channel and you're just getting into some of our recaps, there's a lot of sidebars. Enjoy the fun, okay? Sidebar. I feel like I've met quite a few people because I'm here in London celebrating my birthday. And when I tell people my age, their reaction, like it's actually humbling. I'm like, really? Skincare is skincaring? Anyways, so I like Jasmine for the show. I think she's great at what she does. She's funny. She is getting engaged. She's trying to move conversations along. She's giving us that little mini producer feeling. But you need it in this group of folks. And some of these folks will be just sitting around like, drinking and not engaging and not having a conversation. So you need that personality in the group. Okay? So those are the first people that we met. And then we meet Preston. And Preston is the only black, well, not only black, the only gay black man in this group of friends, which I always tell you guys, you heterosexual men need more gay friends. I think it would help your game with the women, in my own personal opinion. But Preston, also another star of the show. He's bringing the funny, he's bringing the drama, he's trying to stir the drama, but he's not dumb either. Like, he's educated, he's smart. Fast forwarding towards the end, when he started talking about, being a gay man and relationships and his spouse and things like that, not the producers playing organs when he was speaking. You know what? You shady producers. I love it, though. This is also a truly original production. So the same people that produce Real Housewives of Atlanta and Potomac and so many other things. So, they get a little excited, the editors, and who knows, I don't know if these are the same editors, but they do get a little excited with their editing. Don't go too far, but I appreciate, if you don't pay attention in that scene with Preston at the end, where he's talking about that and they're playing the organs. You guys are so shady. Anyways, so I'm not going to continue to go in the same order. I just want to talk about some of the characters. Look, this is just the first episode, so I'm not going to say, oh, this one's boring, or this one doesn't bring anything, because it's too early to say that. It's too early to say that. Nicholas, also named Nick, and I believe we talked about their jobs before. Sidebar. Okay, and this is a sidebar related to the show. The amount of conversation about Playboy in this episode, because, Jordan, Jasmine, Bria, and someone else, I believe, that's not there yet, also worked at I didn't even know they had a Playboy club in New York. I know, gay man, so I'm not interested. But I feel like I know pop culture stuff. I didn't know they had that. I didn't know that these women, who are probably, their 30s, I was like, when did Playboy end? I feel like Playboy ended so long ago. So for anyone to talk about being in Playboy, I expect them to be at least late 40s and up. I feel like they're far too young to be talking about Playboy. But then time for me in my head sometimes I'm just like, oh, well, maybe not. Well, obviously not, because Jordan said that she was one of 4 black playmates of the year, and she was the last one. Gorgeous woman, and she knows it. Just saying. So, okay, so we have Nick, he's a sports brand manager with a distinct sense of style. He's the Kappa, right? So Preston and Silas are alphas, and there's a whole thing, and this is what I can appreciate about Summer House at Martha's Vineyard. We're getting a real black experience. So, when it comes to fraternities, when it comes to Martha's Vineyard, when it comes to just the black experience, I'm like, oh, I feel seen. No, I don't. Well, okay, somewhat seen. I didn't join a fraternity. Although some of you say that if I did join a fraternity, you believe I would be a part of the Kappas. So they talk a little bit about that in this episode, and they show you like, oh, is what a Kappa would be. Silas and Preston are like, on Father's Day, the Kappas need to send us a Father's Day card because they came first. All right, so we have Nick. Again, of course, we have Jasmine and Silas who are married, and by the end of this episode, it seems as if Silas is an interesting character. Not character. Yeah, no character, but he's an interesting, because I didn't expect this from him in regards to how he feels about marriage, his relationship with Jasmine, how he feels about Jordan. At one point, Jordan, I'm going to jump around. So Jordan says she had to restrict. What was his name? Hold on. I'm learning all the names very much like you guys are. Alex, yes. Alex, she had to restrict Alex because he kept on sending her replies to her Instagram stories with like emojis and things like that. That was Alex's way of flirting with her, and she knew it, but she's just like annoyed by it because they're like, say something. Don't just send me emojis and constantly be sending me emojis. Homegirl, put him on restrict. I've done that before. Because some people will just be DMing you all kinds of stuff, and it's like, madam, look, madam, sir. Anyways, speaking of Jordan, as I said to you before, her relationship, and I like that these folks really do know each other. Even though she wasn't good friends with Bria, she does know Bria. She has history with Bria. Okay, so we meet Jordan. Jordan, she's a DJ. And as you know, a model. She knows that she's beautiful, and she mentions it. Again, it doesn't turn me off. I know it's going to turn some of you guys off, but I'm looking at this as like, no, you need this type of personality in this mix of group. She's self-aware in regards to like, I'm beautiful, but come to me with something else other than about my beauty. I can appreciate that. So yes, as I mentioned to you before, she's the 4th and last black playmate of the year. And Jordan considers Jasmine. I feel like maybe they feel like this about each other, but Jasmine said this at the end of the episode. She looks at Jordan like her sister cousin. I've never referred to anyone as my brother cousin. It's either brother or my cousin. Even if they're not blood, it's sort of like, you're like a cousin to me, or you're like a brother to me. I've never heard that, and I'm sure I've heard this term before, sister cousin, but anyway. So Bria's an interesting, like I keep saying this, interesting character. I don't know if that's the way to describe Bria, but Bria is a personality. She brings her dog Milo, who I feel like Milo really is the star, because this entire episode, and I think this entire season, will be centered around Milo, her emotional support animal. But this causes an issue for Jasmine because you're like, she never told me. My thing is, if you're bringing a live animal to someone's, to a vacation, first of all, are you even considering allergies? I'm not sure if Milo's one of those types of dogs that has allergies. He has like, I don't know what kind of hair that is, but it's shedding. It's shedding. You still want to make sure that people are okay. Some people have real fear of dogs. Like they were like, oh, like serious fears. These are questions that should be asked, and Bria did not ask it. And I can appreciate Jasmine's shade because Jasmine shaded everyone in during this whole situation. Sidebar. Who is it? Oh, it's Alex. Alex is who's cousins to, speaking of cousins, is cousins to John Legend.
The music ain't that great. I listen to it on the iPod.
Okay, and he also sings too. All right, I mean not as good as John. Just saying. So Bria brings her dog. Bria is in a new relationship because Jasmine's already trying to manipulate and produce behind the scenes. She's like, well, maybe we'll be able to hook you up with someone here because we have a couple of a couple of single guys. And she's like, no, I'm in a relationship with my German lover of 6 months, but Jasmine gave us the heads up. She's like, well, we'll see if we'll be talking about this German lover in a year from now. Look, Bria's out here having a good time. If that's her lover of the moment, good for her. I'm not going to judge her on that. This is because I don't know how old Bria is. First of all, what is Bria's job? So she's a fashion entrepreneur, works hard for her money to maintain her particular lifestyle. Bria actually heads to Martha Vineyards all the time from Germany, where she lives with her boyfriend. See, I can't hate on her for that. I love it when I see Black people living and loving and traveling and living that type of life. Good for you, Bria. You are dead wrong for bringing Milo like that without telling anybody. And you're dead wrong for having that dog all around this house, leaving hair on the furniture and stuff like that. Look, I think if people outside of Black culture would see this, they're like, oh, Jasmine, you're being petty. It's just a dog. Especially if you're a dog person. I'm like, oh my God, it's a dog. Stop. Here's the thing. It's relatable because I think a lot of Black people, even if you are a dog person, you're like, you're not kissing me on the lips. You're not just running everywhere. You're not being in the pool. I don't know how people feel about that because, like, the stereotypes. Look, the pool part situation. Okay, whatever. So as I'm watching this, I'm like, I'm not surprised that she's reacting this way to dog hair being everywhere. Sidebar. I love the story behind Jasmine and Mariah, her really, really good friend, his relationship, how they lived in a car together. Sidebar. Look, I know. I should just call this sidebar. Jasmine invited Mariah up to New York, didn't tell her that she was getting kicked out of the house, so they end up living in her car, and now they're writing a whole, script about it. I appreciate it. It's an interesting perspective, especially if it's like a comedy. I mean, you could do a dramatic version of that, but I would love to see a comedy, like two Black women living in their car. Like, I could see that being interesting. But it does feel a little like, okay, we're on this show and now we're promoting this other show. I don't know. It feels that way, but look, I appreciate it. It looks like they've been working on it for a while. So this is when we have the dog incident in regards to the dog hair being on the couch because they're talking about their script. So that is Mariah. What is Mariah's story? Let me look up Mariah's story because I just want to kind of know who she is. And like I said before, there are still people that we have not met. Oh, I don't see Mariah. I get this. Is Mariah? Is Mariah not going to be here long, y'all? I don't see her as part of the cast on here. They don't have Mariah's story. Well, I just told you Mariah's story. There's nothing else. But that's interesting. And maybe that's why when I saw Mariah in this first episode, I was sort of like, she's not in the cast photo. So maybe that's what. Maybe she's just sort of like, for lack of a better word, a friend of. So it could be that. Anyways, so we have Mariah, who actually feels like a real genuine friend to Jasmine. Who else is there? And I'm not going to go over the people we haven't met yet. We already talked about Jordan. We talked about Bria. We're going to meet Shanice. Okay, let's talk about some of the guys. Oh, we haven't met Jason yet either. We already talked about Preston. We haven't met Summer yet. And we talked a little bit. Alex is a good-looking guy. But it seems like, I'm not sure. It seems like Alex is insecure. That might be the word. He might be a little insecure. Obviously, he has his eyes for Jordan, but he's not making it obvious. Another person that has their eyes for Jordan is Amir. And when I first saw pictures of Amir, I assumed Amir, I had this whole picture of my mind of I thought he was going to be like one of those bros. And honestly, none of these guys give me that vibe, which I can appreciate. I can definitely appreciate. Like, none of them are like hyper masculine, and I can appreciate that. And Amir isn't either, but Amir has a very interesting background. So Amir is what, Lebanese? Well, technically, is he Lebanese or is he? Well, no, his mom was born in Saudi Arabia, so I don't know what her parents were. But she was born in Saudi Arabia, but she grew up in Lebanon. So he's half Lebanese and he's half black. So it's interesting, and he speaks Arabic. And he was like, you know, a lot of people don't consider Arabic a sexy language, or I do. Arabic is a beautiful language. I have a friend that speaks Arabic. It is a sexy language. Y'all just don't. I mean, there's certain. I mean, look, I love languages, but so he talks a little Arabic, and I'm like, oh, y'all know I got a little crush. Here's the thing, though. Calm down. When I say I have a crush on someone, does not mean I want to sleep with them. Doesn't mean I want to be with them. I think you're cute. That's it. Because some people, you know, especially straight men, they're like, oh my God, oh my God. Calm down. I'm not going to attack you when I see you. If anything, it's me being a Taurus. I will act like I don't even know who you are. I'll be like, oh, you're me. Oh, nice to meet you. It's not that deep. And I'm hearing things, rumors. So I haven't looked this stuff up myself, so I'm not going to speak on it. Maybe once I'm back in the studio, we can, after I've done my research on Amir and some of the old, you know how old stuff start coming up. So I don't know anything about that yet. I will Google schmoogle and confirm. And maybe it will be addressed on the show. Who knows? So we meet Amir. Amir is very much into his body, his fitness, but he doesn't come across, like I said, not like a bro. He doesn't come across like he's full of himself like Jordan, but he's interested in Jordan. Obviously, like he might be full of himself, and he's very like all about looks. Excuse me, all about looks, and that's why he's attracted to Jordan. But Jordan is celibate. She's celibate. She's like, she wants. I mean, look, I can appreciate it, but he can't. He's just like, no sex for a year. Based off the preview, I'm not sure who was in that bed, but maybe she. I mean, they actually would be a really cute couple. But do I see anything long term? That's the thing with Amir. I'm still getting to know what else Amir has going on up here. I haven't gotten there yet. All right, so we haven't met any of the other cast, but everyone's just being introduced. Everyone's having a good time. Everyone's just hanging out. Of course, Jasmine is trying to spearhead these conversations. Jordan is getting annoyed with these like prompts to have conversations. It is what it is. We have Jasmine and Bria get into it about the dog hair being everywhere, her bringing the dog without telling her. We have those conversations. Like, I'm not going to get into these little conversations yet because this is the first episode. We're just learning the names. I'm actually impressed that I remember some of these names, to be honest. But I'm fully engaged. I like this season so far. Well, this first episode, this cast so far. And I like that in this episode, the very first episode, they're talking about how, you know, Black people started in Martha's Vineyard and how now today, you know, people like Obama, Spike Lee, and Kamala Harris own property in Martha's Vineyard. And I'm sure we're going to get more of that throughout this season. Preston does talk about Black excellence and what he feels like it's rooted in. And this is like the very first time I've ever heard someone say they don't like the term Black excellence. And I thought it was interesting because he was like, it's rooted in, you know, Black people trying to achieve what white people consider successful. And I think that is an important conversation to have. And I never really thought about it that way. And I can see where he's coming from in regards to that. However, when I think about Black excellence, that excellence, success is defined very differently by everyone else. What I consider successful, you might consider not successful. Or, oh my God, that's incredibly successful. So for me, when I hear people say Black excellence, it runs the gambit in regards to what I believe that means. But I get where Preston's coming from. He's a thinker. He might be dramatic. He might be funny. He might be an ish starter. But he's also not dumb. And I like the fact that he talked about that and he brought that up. And I think if people are not are ready to just argue and be like, oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? Because they feel attacked, personally attacked, because they're like, oh, no, but I am Black excellent. if you are willing to be like, well, I never thought about it that way. That's how I took that conversation. I didn't feel attacked. I didn't feel like, oh my God, how could he say? No, I was like, oh, I can see where he's coming from, because there are so many, especially in the Black community, that garner that that what's the word? That there are certain achievements in life is really because what white people consider achievements, or on the level of what white people have done, or their acceptance. So I can see that is something that is in the Black community, and I like the fact that he brought it up. So overall, this episode for me, if I had to rate it from 1 to 10, and as always, guys, for those that are in the live chat and in the comment section, replay crew, how would you rate this very first episode of Summer House Martha's Vineyard? I enjoyed it. They're already getting engaged. There's already some issues brewing. Silas brings up an issue at the end of this episode where, when the ladies were working in New York as, for Playboy, and they would go out at night, Bria says, usually people start going out at 1 a.m. I don't know about that, Bria. I think you might be just being dramatic by saying that. I know I'm not a person that goes out late, even when I was in my 20s, not like that bad. If anything, we were already out at 1 a.m., but I get normally maybe like 11, 12 a.m. people are starting to go out. But 1 a.m., no, we're already out by 1 a.m. But Silas didn't like it. And at one point, Alex says, oh, I can see Jordan being the toxic friend. And Jordan's like, the toxic friend? No. And I agree. I agree with Preston, and I agree with Jordan. It's just like, Silas, I don't know where he was coming from this, but this is his perspective in regards to his wife being out and about to 3 a.m. and people are buying them drinks. And she was like, we weren't being bought drinks. We were at an open bar. The drinks are already paid for. Everyone is different. Everyone has different perspectives. I'm not going to attack Silas for having his perspective, but it was interesting. And this is how the episode ends, because Jordan's annoyed by what he's saying. And she's just like, I have no control over your wife. But Jasmine's like, well, this is my husband. I'm going to stick beside him. And she does. And like I said, I didn't tell you my rating for this episode. I probably rate this episode a solid 8.5, maybe a 9. I'm going to say 9, because I felt like, although it wasn't perfect, it's that tube getting to my throat, y'all. Let me take a sip. Sidebar. They told me, one of the tours that I did, that being on the tube for like 20 minutes is the equivalent of one cigarette. So maybe I should walk to where I'm going to go today, because it's affecting my throat. Hopefully I'll be good enough for our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap later today. If not, then we'll do it another day, because I want to be 100% so that we can talk. But now I sound like I have a frog in my throat. Speaking of frogs, you saw the frog that jumped into the pool and how all the Black people started running? And what Preston had to say in regards to that? It's true, though. We saw this on Harlem on Prime. Remember when what's her name was running, and all the Black people started running with her? So when at BravoCon, when all the white people were running towards Real Housewives of Beverly Hills panel, this Black man was walking the other way. It's a thing. it's a thing. But I'm enjoying the show. I'm going to give this first episode a solid 9. Producers, you should have told me more. when I saw it, you should have told me what it was. But I get it. Legal reasons, they can't drop too much tea. But they were like, we have a new show. I think you're really going to like it. So far, I do. And look, some of you would think I'm being bought and paid. No, these producers know. And they actually probably respect the fact that they know I can't be bought and paid. So for all of you that keep thinking I'm bought and paid by networks or reality celeb, they wish, but they know 1 minute I could love you this week, next minute I could be like, Just saying. Guys, shout out to our King's Guards. We cannot, everyone's been talking about how great our community is. It is really at the safeguards and safe spaces that are created by our community and our King's Guard. So shout out to our King's Guard. Shout out to our members of the channel. If you're a member of the channel, check out the community tab. I've been posting exclusive photos and conversations on our community tab for members only. And be sure to follow us on the Kempire Radio YouTube channel, subscribe to the Kempire Radio podcast, and be sure to subscribe to the Kempire Shorts channel because I will be posting exclusive London content there. Okay? Not on TikTok, not on Instagram Reels, on YouTube Shorts. Matter of fact, once I'm done here, I might post a little something there. All right, and maybe I'll go live there. You just never know what's going to happen. Follow me on all things, okay? Head on over to TheKempire.com for more details on our podcast, our merchandise that will be going soon. So be sure to check out that stuff if this has been something you've been waiting on. And don't forget our sponsor for this month, because Mother's Day is right around the corner, is roseforever.com. Use the discount code Kempire25 for $25 off of your purchase, all right? Head on over to the description of this video for more details. Thank you all for being here. Final thoughts on this. Again, I would rate the episode a 9. I thought this was a really great start. There isn't anyone on this cast that makes me go like, ugh, recast. But this is only episode 1. This is only episode 1. I appreciate what everyone is bringing to this show so far. And it was a really good first episode. Really good start. And I'm looking forward. And I like the pairing of Real Housewives of Atlanta and the show together. Don't forget, come July 16th, I believe it is, Real Housewives of New York is going to be airing on Sundays after Real Housewives of Atlanta. I get why they're doing it, because we're getting a very diverse cast, so they want to kind of keep Sunday nights Black night, or now diverse night. So that's going to happen. It's going to be weird to have Real Housewives of New York on a Sunday. It's never been what we are used to. Gonna get used to it though. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share the video. Replay crew, be sure to let me know where you're watching from, how you'd rate the episode of Summer House Martha's Vineyard, and let me know your thoughts on everything that I said, what you watched, in the comment section. Thank you all for being here. Have a great rest of your day. I'm going to go head out to some part of London today just to explore before I head out of London tomorrow to explore some other parts of England. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get out of here.
You bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll ask you. Follow me, lady.